All right. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live?
Yeah,
Are we
we're live.
I'm alive.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I got a text message. Anyway, hello, ladies and gentlemen. GamesB4Bros Gaming Podcast, episode 28. We're back from a long hiatus. It has been dry in the gaming streets, and life happens. So, I am your host, J2 Cool. I am joined by the wonderful, stupendous, and sexy
Royal Scorpio.
I was gonna jump that shit. Damn it!
I didn't need that. It's okay.
It's like, I don't need no man calling me sexy.
They take my tractor and say they really turned me.
I don't know the rest of the song. I just know that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway.
So that's one. Keep going. Keep going, people.
My bad. I'm sorry. It's the Kage-sama back.
Okay, and I'm Aries, and I'm not doing any weird hand signs or anything.
Kage-sama's back. Not the rest of them. It just is back.
I don't associate myself with these dark individuals. I don't know who these are. Alrighty then. Anywho, so since we've been gone for so long, we're gonna skip Aries because we know he hasn't played anything. We're gonna skip Lamar because we definitely know he hasn't played anything. Hey, John, what have you been playing?
So really, truth be told, the only thing I've been playing the last few weeks is Battlefield 4, which is an old game, and
Nothing wrong with
the
it.
Defiance remake, the fucking remaster. It's the exact same game as it was on the 360. It's just higher graphics, and they're working out bugs for the transfer. But aside from that, I've just been doing that. It's kind of annoying. It's one of those games where you play when you're really bored, and it's definitely. I remembered as I was playing it the reason why there were certain aspects of the game that I really hated. Like you have gauntlets where you have to fight a bunch of enemies and there's a checkpoint, and then you fight a bunch of enemies and there's another checkpoint, and that's kind of annoying to me. So, but aside from that, Monster Hunters events are over. I've already completed those. I'm waiting for Behemoth to come out, which I'm pretty excited about. But I'm hoping they have more than just Behemoth. Hopefully they have more surprises like they did with Kuv-Taroth. But yeah, aside from that, not too much.
All right, so I was messing with you guys. Aries, we've been playing.
I have been playing the fuck out of Beat Saber this past week. It's just been killing my shoulders, but it's totally worth it. I also did.
Is that VR?
Yeah, it's in VR. It's a rhythm game in VR. It's kind of like a Guitar Hero sort of thing. We've got a red and a blue lightsaber, and you have to hit blocks that are red and blue.
So is there like a teach a white man a dance mode?
No.
Yeah, basically. There's a few of those. You don't really get to move your feet a lot, though, so it doesn't help. It's just your arms. You look like a fucking weeb. I also did buy Hunt Showdown, I think, like last week, which is sort of, it's a new sort of like Battle Royale PvE kind of thing. It looked interesting.
Mm-hmm. Is that the one made by the people who used to make the Ninja Gaiden?
I don't know, actually. I have no idea. I kind of just bought it on a whim to play with a friend. It is actually kind of interesting. It's different from your typical Battle Royale because it's like the objective isn't to kill other people. You're put on a map with like a ton of zombies and like special zombies.
Oh, no, it's a different game. Yeah, this is made by Crytek. Wow, okay.
Yeah, and your goal is you have a bounty to kill a boss, and you have to go around the map collecting clues to tell you what building the boss is in. Then you do a boss fight, you absorb its soul, and then you have to escape the map.
I remember they were talking about this at it was like a year ago at E3.
Yeah, I remember that game. Is it fun?
Yeah, it's actually done pretty well. I think it's a little too early to buy now, but if it keeps doing well, I think it will be worth it because it's like you don't really run into people that often. So if you really hate like other people in battle royales, the PvE aspect is there and it is pretty good. And there's so many different like interesting ways of like fighting because you have two different ways to ADS. You actually generally melee with your weapon, and you have some things like you'll have a shotgun with an axe put on it, so you can swing the axe if you want to be silent. But it's got two different types of ADS. One where you're just aiming, like just you have it up, and then one where you're actually looking down the scope. So there's just different variations in the way that you can fight, which is kind of nice. And then the special zombies all add like an interesting layer. There's like, an armored type of zombie. There's a zombie, like some lady with a beehive in her that shoots bees at you, that poison you. It's just a whole bunch of cool stuff that I think really adds like another layer to that like PvE battle royale aspect.
What system is on?
It's on PC right now.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I was pretty excited about that, but I remember it was just PC, and I was pretty sad. But
yeah, yeah, I'd still say it's like not quite worth it yet, but it is looking up. So that is good.
Nice. What was I gonna say? So it is an early access.
Yeah, it is an early access. And generally, I'm like super against early access, but I was really bored.
Yeah, that's very true. Alrighty then. So we're gonna get into the first topic, which is going to be. So is anybody aware, like a Rainbow Six?
The chat ban.
Yeah, Ubisoft is starting to ban people for like foul language in chat now.
It's that whole YouTube swear word thing all over again. It's the same games.
So basically, like if you're like cursing or saying any racial slurs or homophobic slurs, you more than likely will get banned. And there was actually someone who got banned. They didn't even say, like, they said a play on it. They didn't say nigga. They said nibba, and they got banned.
Oh.
NIBBA. So they are not playing. And now it has come out that event, like, so pretty soon the cheaters or whatever you want to call them are like their rank and rewards will all be removed.
Ooh.
oh yes.
Oh wow.
Finally, somebody doing something about cheating. So SOBs.
That, like, I'm all down for banning cheaters, but I think you should just let people say what they want to say. I mean,
yeah.
Oh yeah, like as far as I mean, truth be told, I mean you're gonna get it no matter what. Like you can't shelter the world from the world. Like you can't be like, hey, you can't say that. Well, yes, they can't say that, but they will say it, and they're gonna find a way to say it. So might as well be out in the open.
What's irritating to me is that there's a block button, there is a mute button,
there's profanity filters,
there's that, and then on most games, especially on PC, if you block or ban somebody, you won't get matched up with them. You should probably get on that, Sony and Microsoft, because that shit doesn't work. It just stops the person from communicating with you, but you still can get matched up with them. Don't understand it, but yeah, I think it's just stupid. Like, yeah, there's some things you shouldn't say. Got you. But at the same time, like how far are we gonna take this?
Hey, you know what? These niggas be tripping nowadays.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
It's the internet. People are always going to say the most outrageous thing that they can whenever they feel like it, and I think trying to police that is just kind of ridiculous because that just encourages people to find ways around the system more and more and more. It's not really a battle that you can win.
No. Yeah. And it's not even a battle that you like. Do you really want to win that?
It's not even worth fighting. Like,
what's really want to win that?
It's just people saying weird stuff on the internet. Like,
it's just our generation now. It's all about censoring. Everybody's super sensitive, and you can't say that. So we're gonna find ways to stop you from saying that, so we can keep everybody safe. And it's really irritating. It's like making everybody really thin-skinned.
I remember little kids fucking calling me a nigga, like little like fucking 8-year-olds calling me a nigga on fucking OG Xbox. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Come on. If you are any form of gamer, you gotta have some kind of thick skin. Especially if you were a gamer last generation when Call of Duty, like the widespread of multiplayer. Come on. I remember the last time I played Call of Duty, like, I was sitting here surprised, like, this is taking me back. They're all calling each other bitches, pussies, all this shit. Like, it's just it was the same thing. I'm like,
join a PUBG lobby for literally 30 seconds and don't have your voice muted, and it's disgusting.
It's full blown battle, like especially when you had Call of Duty players versus Battlefield players. The insults were just ridiculous.
I remember I watched this video where this, if anybody doesn't know, Jerome, the dude who's the gay, he's not gay, but he plays a gay black dude on Call of Duty, and he goes around, he's like, "Hey man,
oh yeah,
you say some shit again like that, I'm gonna beat your ass and suck your dick," and then people are like, "What?" And he just goes on with that shit, right? It's hilarious. Just look up Jerome on Call of Duty on YouTube. Really funny stuff. But one thing in particular, there was this kid, probably like 8, 9 years old, playing Call of Duty, and he was doing this shit to him, and the dad actually got upset. I'm like, it's rated M, 17 and up.
Exactly.
What is he doing playing it? If you don't want him to experience the foul language, take the fucking headset off of his fucking head. We're like, come on.
Well,
online interactions aren't even rated too. It says that on the game, so
it's not rated.
Yeah, not rated because you can't rate that.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think the problem is, first of all, and here's my philosophical shit, is that parents are not being parents. You know,
no.
And it's like, first of all, you just want something to blame to make you look like you're not a bad parent. No, motherfucker. Be a man or woman about your children and say, look, you're not going to play this because, I can't control what other people motherfucking do. I can control your ass, and your ass won't play.
It blows my mind that that's the whole thought process. And that's the new thing. It's like, just give your kid Fortnite and he'll shut the fuck up.
True. Think about how many parents give their phone. Well, some don't.
Phone, tablet, all that. Yeah. Here, shut up. Here.
And then they get mad that, oh, where did you learn that from? Bitch, you enabled me by giving me the damn thing. You don't watch my shit, so.
Indeed.
But learn some crazy shit.
Indeed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What? Hold up. What? They want to do that. They want to do that fucking stupid ass video. What's playing now? Oh, it's this one. God damn it. The stupid ass videos that play on these fucking websites. Anyway. So, moving on to the next topic. So I thought this was hilarious. Everybody knows what Movie Pass is, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. It was on the 27th, the actual day that the Friday that the new Mission Impossible movie came out. There was a bunch of people that could not use their Movie Pass to see this movie because evidently in the middle of the night, Movie Pass just ran out of money.
How, Sway? How?
Just ran out of money because their whole model is you pay, I think it's like $20 a month, and you can watch as many movies as possible. Who do you think's paying for those movies? The business was created under the assumption that you probably wouldn't abuse it, but of course people are going to abuse it and just go see more than the $20 spent as far as movies go. And when you do that, you run out of money. Stop it. What are you doing? Hush. So freaking, yeah, they evidently ran out of money and had to take out a loan of, how much was it? I think it was borrow more than $5 million to cover it.
Jesus. Wow. I was just reading about Movie Pass 2 days ago and how somebody was like, yeah, I go to way more movies than I spend my money on, but he was like, I'm going to single-handedly take them down with this. And I was like, that's funny. And now it's actually happened.
Yeah, that's a definite.
And I can't believe people go to see movies that often. That's crazy.
I can't believe someone thought this was a good idea. They
that too.
Like they had way too much faith in humanity. They're like, oh no, people are not going to abuse this. Why would they do that? A bunch of people that never went to the movie all of a sudden want to go to the movies now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting my money's worth. Fuck that shit. Excuse me. I'm gonna go see the movie 5 times. Don't want to see it. Don't want to see it 5 times. I just want to go see it 5 times because I can. And the only like loop, the only thing that like would be like somewhat of a hindrance is that you have to the app recognizes the location, so you have to be within a certain vicinity of the movie theater you're going to in order to buy tickets. But that's it. Whatever. Good luck to Movie Pass. Yeah, they're not gonna make it. Not gonna make it. All right, so it looks like NBA Live 19. And I wouldn't bring this up because I honestly don't care about basketball games, but NBA Live 19 will have the first ever female custom creation option. Which is interesting. I don't know why this hasn't been a thing. It is online, but yeah, good on them for adding this. It is one mode that I'm legitimately like, yeah. So yeah,
well, I mean, they do have the WNBA. I think it's smart in the sense that now they don't have to make a separate gender game for it. Like, you know, even though who watches the WNBA, I'm just saying.
That's the thing. I remember reading an article where there was a lot of WNBA players complaining that they don't get paid as much as male NBA players. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, no shit. No, not enough people. NBA is a multi-billion-dollar industry because billions of people watch it. No one's watching the WNBA. That's why you don't make that much money. So
something that had come up the other day, and it was an argument that I thought about, and I was like, you know what, this makes a lot of sense. It's like anything that males are generally interested in, we invest our time and our money into. So of course it's going to do well. So for you to come into a particular scenario and force females into it, it's like if females aren't interested in it, then they're not going to spend their fucking money on it. Yeah. So if you're going to try to force females on male associated things, then you're going to destroy your product because the males who are solely interested in the male stuff are not going to be interested anymore, because if they were interested in what the females were doing, then they would be spending money on that. It's like women's volleyball. All guys love watching women's volleyball. All guys. Guys like watching men's volleyball. Guys like competitive sports. Women, on the other hand, they may or may not like competitive sports. But there's a much larger demographic of males that like a particular thing. And for you to try to force that down their throat is going to hurt your product in the long run.
Well, that's true, too. But let's be real. The reason why a lot of men watch females volleyball is not necessarily because we actually like the game of volleyball.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's cross-rated thing.
What's very interesting is that that doesn't translate to WNBA at all.
Yeah,
exactly. That doesn't translate to WNBA. So the only thing they're doing is they're going to end up hurting their product. They're going to end up hurting the demographic. It's like the whole subject of, Battlefield 5. Oh, we're going to have females on the front lines. No guy wants to see a fucking female on front lines. That's not historically accurate, nor has it ever been accurate, nor will it be accurate.
True, but
hold on. I will interject something. Now they're having females in combat. Or what I've learned,
they're not in front line.
But I mean, they're in combat MOSs now.
Okay, now we're talking about Battlefield 5
combat.
Yeah, we're talking about Battlefield 5, which is based in World War II.
Okay,
yeah. But
think about it. People who have interest in historical things are traditionally male. Now, I'm not saying that it's all male, but it's traditionally male. For you to teach history like that is really fucking with it, and I don't, that because of that, I don't like the direction it's going. Like
I will say this though. This is all I will say. Number one, it is for the multiplayer portion of it, so I don't care. You do what you want. There is a higher demographic as far as gaming for females than there ever has been. So there is a market there. And then two, if you're learning your history from a video game, you have other problems.
That's true.
You have other problems. If your sole purpose of playing a video game is to get up on your history, you have problems. You got problems.
Problem when you have a product that says it's historically accurate.
Now, if that is what is pushed, that's that's what it is. Got you. Battlefield 1 was like that, Battlefield 5 is not marketed as being historically accurate at all because, number one, there's female on the front line. Number two, there is cosmetics. You can make your fucking character look like a fucking clown. I don't know what the fuck, but they're going to add a bunch of cosmetics. This is not going to be a 100% historically accurate game. It's going to be a game. I don't care. I liked Wolfenstein. I liked Inglourious Bastards. Altering that shit, 100% okay with it. Do what you will. If you market it, though, as historically accurate, then I expect historically accurate. But if you don't market it that way, do whatever the fuck you want. Okay.
It's a video game. Who cares? every time one of these things happens, I'm just like, does it really affect you that much? Like,
oh, it does. I lose sleep at night, all right? I mean, that's all I think about.
Just turning in my bed thinking about how they added freaking women to my World War II game. How could they do this?
Well, see, technically, it does affect us in the long term because this is subliminal type shit. Like, if you're giving this impression to, women who think that they can do the same thing as guys in combat, then, you're going to end up leading them down, more aggressive females.
Hey, there's a 1%.
I don't care. I want to play
there's a 1%. Have you seen Chris Cyborg? That bitch will beat all of us up. And I don't say bitch because she's a female. I say bitch because I call everybody a bitch.
It's a sad day when you have to clarify.
Everybody.
Everybody gets laid by a bitch.
Everybody's a bitch. Everybody. Just like I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude, because we're all dudes. So yeah, NBA Live, cool. I hope there's gonna be a bunch of there's gonna be 90% dudes are gonna make a chick, and it's gonna be 10% of women that make a chick. Guarantee. That's what happens in every game.
Or you get that one douchebag. Like I used to have a friend who played World of Warcraft who specifically would make female characters because
was he a mailbox dancer?
Nah.
No, they would assume he was a chick and give him shit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what mailbox dancers did. They would just make a female character, go to mailboxes because those are high traffic areas, take off all of their armor, and then dance until people gave them money. And it always fucking works for some reason. I don't understand.
Because we, as the male race, are fucking idiots.
Gender.
You're right. I said race. I am sorry I offended all of the other racists.
This is a public service announcement.
We do not affiliate ourselves with J2 Cool. So yeah. Moving on. What is that? Oh, okay. So for all of the wrestling fans, not too many of them in here, but they have announced the collector's edition for the new WWE 2K19. Is special edition is $130, and last year's collector's edition featured a John Cena action figure, a limited edition John Cena action figure that looks just like any action figure you could buy in a store, which is why it was the dumbest collector's edition I've ever seen in my life. But this year it's going to be the Ric Flair Woo edition, and it's somewhat redeemable. So you're going to get the season pass. You're going to get exclusive WWE Supercard content, which is a mobile game. You're going to get a exclusive individually numbered WWE Hall of Fame replica ring. That's pretty cool. An exclusive commemorative plaque featuring a piece of a robe worn by Ric Flair. So if you're a weirdo. And then exclusive styling and profiling Ric Flair Funko Pop doll.
Okay. You know what? I think the only way that would have made that just like super perfect if you had got a belt with it or some shit, and it had like Woo on it or something. That would have been just like, okay, all right.
Yeah, like if it was $100, I probably would have bought it. But 130, nah.
Honestly, like for me, like I got back into wrestling because I went to the NXT event, and like I'm trying to go to that Mae Young thing because I love female wrestlers. Yeah, for apparent reason. But anyway,
they're very talented individuals. Don't you sexualize them, you pig.
You never said anything sexual.
No, I didn't actually.
No, but everyone's assuming it. I can just hear it. I can hear.
A lot of the female ones are more than the male.
You know what I hear? This is what I hear.
Oh, you funny as shit.
Oh, I closed out the whole fucking window. Shit.
Yeah, that's again for talking shit.
Yeah. Luckily, I remember the topics, so I don't technically need it. I'll go with that.
Okay, roger that.
Up here.
Anyway.
Yeah, go ahead. That's it?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay. He's gonna say something sexual. He starts shutting himself up. Can't help it. All right. So yeah. So anybody see the new collector's edition Spider-Man, the console?
No.
Ooh, okay. I have to open up because it's quite beautiful. I will say. Hold on, let me open up the web browser.
Yeah, because I would like to see this.
It's quite beautiful. If you are simply listening, do yourself a favor, open up your web browser and behold this beautiful console. It is beautiful, as I say again. It is, you pre-order for $400, which is the normal price of the PS4 Pro. So you're pretty much getting the game for free. Why won't this open? Okay, well, Best Buy said, fuck you. It's cool. Fuck you, Best Buy. I will proceed to Newegg. And I will share my screen. And you will behold.
Oh, that's fly as shit.
It looks pretty good.
I think if they would have put a mixture of the blue and gold.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's weird that there's no blue on it, but other than that, it looks really good. Oh,
well, the light's blue on all the controllers, so
yeah. I mean, I guess, but
I feel weird. Like I feel like they're actually like going around not really endorsing Peter Parker anymore, because I feel like the variations they're using are like the Ben Reilly variants. Like that's a Ben Reilly total red feel, which is supposed to be this Peter Parker clone. If you know anything about Spider-Man, you know what I'm referring to. But in the Spider-Man universe, there's Peter Parker and there's Ben Reilly. Ben Reilly is a clone of Peter Parker, or he's the original Peter Parker. And the Peter Parker in that universe goes bad. He mixes with the Carnage suit and takes over the world. But anyway, I feel like they've been endorsing that color scheme a lot lately, so I'm kind of curious why they're doing that.
So it's
for anybody who wants to pre-order this here console on Newegg, they have a special for $520, an extra $120, but it will include a extra controller and a copy of God of War, so that's not bad.
Oh, that ain't bad.
So that's $120 in itself.
Yeah, I don't know how that's a good deal at all. I don't know. I'm looking at it, I'm like,
I'm thinking because listen, okay. How expensive is a normal controller? I'm sorry, it's been a while since I gamed.
$50.
So just to let you know. So the console's $400 and it comes with Spider-Man and the controller, right?
Right.
$520 is equivalent to $120 you would spend to buy God of War and a controller.
Oh shit!
So I don't know why this is a combination. I just looked. I'm like, why is it $520? Oh, you get these two items that cost relatively the same. So you could buy all this separately and it wouldn't even matter. I don't understand why that's a thing. Why is that a thing? I don't know. Newegg, you're weird. Just pre-order at Best Buy, Target, or your local. Don't go to GameStop. Don't go to GameStop. Unless they don't have it anywhere else, then I understand. But if they have it somewhere else, go there. Don't buy it at GameStop. This podcast does not endorse GameStop.
Well, hold on, but I heard GameStop is going down just like the rest.
Not yet, so don't go to GameStop.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're allowed to go to GameStop once they have like a close down, and then you want to get all those games on sale. Then by all means, by all means, give them your money, because at that point it will actually be
The ship is already
Good
sailed.
price. Yeah, it'll be a good price at that point. So then go to GameStop. Otherwise, pre-order your Spider-Man Collector's Edition at Best Buy, Target, Walmart. Walmart, you can do it on layaway. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. For the new WWE 2K19 game, forgot to say this, will not be on the Switch due to the fact that the previous game was broken and they still haven't fixed it even today. Which that's what worries me about, the Switch. The fact that there's only so much you can do with it, and porting the game kind of
deteriorates it.
It's hit or miss because it's not powerful enough to really, to handle today's titles. Even though the Xbox and the PlayStation 4 are not the most powerful consoles in the world, they are leaps and bounds more powerful than the Nintendo Switch. So that's why I will only buy Nintendo Switch once the official Pokemon game comes out. Then I will buy one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just because the whole handheld thing. It's like you can take it on the go, so we really couldn't make it that powerful.
100%.
I mean, I guess
even Dark Souls, we're still waiting on that to come out on the Switch.
Yeah,
and that game came out how long ago? 2010, 2009. I don't know.
Which Dark Souls?
The first one.
Oh, the first one. It's been a very long time. That's like back in 2011. 11.
Yeah.
11? Wow.
It came out in 2011.
Oh, September.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so
8 years.
Game that came out 7 years ago. Yeah, they're having troubles putting it on a Nintendo Switch. Like,
yeah. I try to just think of the Switch as, rather than the step up from the Wii U, I just pretend it's the step up from the DS, and I just deal with that because it's mostly just the handheld.
The DS is going away. It's gonna happen.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it definitely is.
It's going away. Did anybody know that No Man's Sky is finally done?
Oh, it's done after this
done.
big update.
This big update.
It's
finally complete.
Or as in, it's done as in they gave up and the ship is.
No, it's done as in they finally finished the game. They added all the things that they promised they were going to add to it. They added the multiplayer aspect of it. They added a survival mode. They added different game difficulties, all that shit. So they've pretty much everything that they promised in the beginning, they have added for the most part into the game.
Fulfilled.
So if you were at all interested in what was pitched to you originally from No Man's Sky, now is the time to go get it. Its player numbers actually shot from I think it was 200 players to 200,000 players.
That's one hell of a jump. Good.
Yeah, and it looks like it's coming to the Nintendo Switch. That's interesting.
Yeah,
it is.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so No Man's Sky is available on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, soon to be on the Nintendo Switch apparently, and PC of course.
See, the thing I don't understand is the premise of one. They're releasing games now. It's like, if you're going to talk about a game, that's fine, but No Man's Sky is the exact example of what I'm talking about. Why bother talking about the game if you're not going to complete it and hurt the game and its reputation? When you get to the point where you have 200 players, why bother even advertising the fact that you're releasing the game? How about you complete the game, then release it?
Because everybody is used to a fucked up ass game in general. Now it's almost like who cares that it comes out this time? It's going to be half-assed and we can fix it in post. I mean, we all have now that fix it in post type of mentality.
But at this point, there's a damage to the reputation, and the game is damaged as is. The numbers that they could have had could have been far greater than the recovery status that they had to go through. Same thing happened with The Division. The recovery, if they released a full game, complete game that fully tested it out, it would have become a much greater game. It would have been the game that it is now that people would actually have loved and probably have a lot more player base. Instead, they were giving us these partial games that are damaging their own reputation. And, they complete the game later. Then they're like, hey, now the game's finally complete. And now you got probably a fraction of the player base that would have actually played the game to begin with to actually return to the game
What's
years later.
really sad about that is that for a lot of games, that is 100%. You know what is going to happen, but if you're a franchise like Call of Duty or all these other, it's people are gonna fucking ignore it, because if people didn't ignore it and people actually did what you said they did and would do what they're supposed to do when stuff like this happens, then it wouldn't be a thing. But unfortunately, people don't care. People expect shit like this, and it's annoying. But that also want to bring up is that I really think that games shouldn't even be announced unless they're done. I don't even think that should even be a thing.
I agree.
I think once the game is done, then announce it and give a release date. And it's the same with movies with me. I don't want to fucking know a movie's coming out a year, 2 years down the road. I don't care at that point. And I don't want to sit here and be like, oh man, anticipate. Like, no. I'm gonna forget about the thing when it comes out that it comes out. I would much rather you tell me about a game that's coming out like a month or two, even 6. I think 6 is like the max, really, in advance, that we should know that a game's coming out. Otherwise, why even bother?
Especially with movies, you also can set yourself up for failure completely by announcing something that might not ever get actually made because, oh, we run out of money, or, oh, this director quit, or something like that along the lines of the 3 years that you announced it 3 years early. As so much can happen in that time, it could just never even come out. So yeah, I think there does need to be like more of they need to announce stuff closer to a release date to be like, hey, we have this and it is actually going to happen, because they're just setting up expectations that they can't even meet a lot of the times.
I definitely.
Games like Final Fantasy VII, which you don't know what the fuck's going on with that. Then Crackdown, we don't know if that's even gonna be a thing, really.
Exactly.
There's countless times that games have been announced way too early, and then they don't fulfill their promise, or it gets delayed 1,000,001 times, and that's the thing. But you also so there's an issue with announcing it too early, and there's also an issue with publishers not allowing their game to be delayed, and that whole fix it in post mentality. Like delay your game, because not every game can be The Division. Every game's going to be For Honor. Not every game's going to be No Man's Sky where people come back to it. Especially if it's a unknown franchise, you're fucked.
And I hate to always use this as an example, but I say this because it was such a gem. It was such a diamond in the rough. Dark Souls. That game was virtually unheard of when it came out, and it was a complete game. People loved it so much they begged for DLC, and it made a cult following. The game blew up. People were still playing the third game as to this day, 2 years after release. Like, servers are still full. That's because it's a complete game when they got it. They didn't get a partially made game. They didn't get a game that was, oh yeah, well, you pay for more of the game as we continue to develop it, so we're going to give you part of the game now. Imagine the kind of detriment Dark Souls would have been if you only had like the first area of Dark Souls when you bought the game, and that was it. Like they give you a complete game, and that's a problem with games nowadays. They're not giving us complete products. They're giving us these partially made products, and people are like, okay, well, I'm not really interested in it anymore because it's not finished, and I'm not going to complete the story, or I'm not going to complete this until the next part comes out, and I'm waiting for that, and so whatever. And then people lose interest, and then you get your No Man's Skies, So, but that's my last piece on that.
Yeah, we won't beat that dead horse. Ridiculous. I'll beat that dead horse more than Fortnite, though. Anyway, so what is everyone's opinion on crossplay?
On crossplay, I think it should be on like all. It should happen. Every console, every PC should be able to play together. I don't see why not. I don't think it needs to be as big of a deal. Like, I understand some games aren't able to do it, but if it has the capability, why not? What if I want to play with my old friend who doesn't, he can't afford a PC, but he's on Xbox, so I want to play a game with him. There needs to be crossplay. I don't know why it shouldn't happen.
I think depending
Wait,
on the
hold on. Lamar, are you sleeping?
Yeah, I almost said something earlier, but he opened his eyes like once or twice. So.
What you doing over there, son? What you doing? Huh? What you doing? What you doing? What you doing? This nigga. Anyway, go ahead. go ahead, man.
I think, to be completely honest, I think it depends on the game, and I think it depends on the parameters. Like, if it's competitive, I don't think so, because, again, we bring up the accuracy of the PC mouse versus a controller. I love my controllers because I feel like I have absolute control over my player character, but at the same time, the accuracy of a mouse, the quick response of it is pretty insane. So I think some aspects would ruin like games. If like most first-person shooters, I think most people would have an issue with the PC. But aside from a PC aspect of using different hardware, I would say, overall, I think that it should be a thing. I mean, because when a game starts dying in the servers, it can still have a great following across multiple platforms, but like they can all have a certain amount. And if there's a certain amount of people who just start to fall off, then you can take those people and put them together and then, still enhance their experience. So
I think that kind of brings up another thing for me, at least, where I really see the only competitive game I see where PC has a huge advantage over console would be first-person shooters. And to me, that kind of says maybe there should be more, games that aren't first-person shooters, because they're everywhere now and everybody plays them all the time. So, like, if we had more interactive games that work differently where PC didn't get this huge advantage over console, that'd be great. More PvE games, Monster Hunter World would be awesome. I don't know if it has crossplay. I bet it won't. But like it could work, so why not do it?
I think part of the problem is the fact that there's so many PvP based games that there's not very many PvE based games nowadays. Yeah. So whenever you get that
player versus environment, player versus player.
No, I was like the only PvE one that I would think of is like World of Warcraft, or I would think of like EverQuest. I know that's that.
RPGs; those are different.
Yeah,
so we're talking about games. We're talking about games that
not very easy on console.
We're talking about games you possibly could play with PC players that you can't play with on console.
The Final Fantasy MMO I know has crossplay between consoles and PC.
Yeah, so I mean, ultimately, I feel like a lot of the issues come from the fact that they're trying to exploit the first-person shooter genre. They're like, oh, we can sell more of those. And I think that's what's honestly killing the whole cross-market play, because, I mean, I've seen some games on PC that look absolutely amazing. First-person shooters, Counter-Strike, Quake, there's plenty of first-person shooters, but the issue then comes in the aimbots and freaking, it's already bad on PC, it's already bad on console. Then when you mix those two, it's going to be absolute chaos and it's going to ruin the game. So I understand that aspect. So, cross-platform as far as games like Monster Hunter where they're PvE, and if you cheat, then it's just you ruin your game experience. You're not going to ruin somebody else's game experience. So, that's kind of the premise I see. I mean, cross-platforming for something like Dark Souls, people do it anyway. People cheat on Dark Souls on the console. So they're going to cheat on PC and they're going to mod. So, yeah, that's a PvP aspect. So I can understand the argument there. But you can have legitimate moderators who are monitoring that and, get rid of the cheaters. I mean, put them...
Yeah, with cheaters, at least, I think it's just like, hey, we need to step up our anti-cheat, because there's so many games right now that just don't have good anti-cheat, and that's the problem. Because there is good anti-cheat still out there. It's just not utilized.
Something that I know of because of my brother, who plays under my name on PlayStation Network, which really annoys me. He actually is... So Grand Theft Auto has this thing where they have what they call a bad server or something like that. If you go around player killing and just griefing people, they put you in a particular type server, and you have to spend a certain amount of time in that server for an allotted amount of time. And then if you do it again, you get in there longer and longer. I think that kind of system should be implemented more into games. Because if people are going to cheat, and then put you in there with other cheaters, ruin your game experiences with each other.
Yeah,
You know, I think that should be a thing, more of a thing. I think
that actually makes perfect sense because then it's like, okay, who's the better cheater? That's just me.
That unfortunately, it makes too much sense, and people are, they're not going to do it because it requires money, time, effort. But from a business standpoint, and this is not a consumer friendly standpoint, I completely understand why this is a thing because the Microsoft Microsoft not right now so much because they're losing, so they're trying to get anything that they can possibly get. But Sony, on the other hand, they are really far in the lead, and they want to keep you on your platform. They don't want to give you a reason why you could have any platform and play. They may have their exclusives, but they don't want to give you a reason to go to a different platform. They don't want to give you a reason to be like, oh, well, I can just have an Xbox and I can play my friends on PlayStation. So why would I have a PlayStation? They don't want to give you that peace of mind. And so from a business standpoint, I understand it. And I don't know how drastic that would be to the market as far as if you could play everything on anything, just not the exclusives. I wonder how that would change the gaming landscape. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know they don't want to find out. They don't want to know what happened if that happens.
I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly. I mean, I don't speak for everybody, but as somebody who did go out and buy a PlayStation just to play some exclusives, but I still mainly play on PC. Like, they still made a sale off of me. I think people who really care enough will buy just for exclusives. And as far as crossplay and multiplayer games go, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, I totally agree with Aries. Like that, as soon as he brought up that, I was like, "Yep, I totally agree." Because, I remember I bought a PS3 because of a few exclusive games that PlayStation had that I knew I wanted. So like I'm an Xbox fiend. I've been playing Xbox for years. I play Xbox mostly because of the people. Like, to be completely honest, I bought an Xbox because of the people that played it originally with me. And I didn't like the way the controller was on the PlayStation at the time. Like, I just didn't like the way it felt.
It's garbage. I know. PS3
so garbage. When I bought my Xbox, I was like, this feels better, and I love the concept of PlayStation. I love the idea. I played lots of PlayStation games over the years. I just didn't like the way their hardware was. So playing the game itself, I don't see why, like, especially since they have a mass market for exclusives, I don't see what the harm would be for them to play multiplayer with other players. Like, I don't see that premise.
The problem comes down to it. The amount of money, R&D, quality assurance that they would have to have in order to mix the two networks, the Xbox Live and PlayStation. All the stuff they would have to do, because PlayStation's infrastructure is still fucked up, because the reason why you can't change your name on PlayStation is because your name is directly attached to everything you own. And in changing your names would just completely wipe everything. And that's the whole reason behind that whole thing. So I can't imagine what they would have to do. They would pretty much just have to restart everything just to create a cooperative infrastructure between the Xbox Live and the PSN network. Because then you have to deal with, okay, what if someone's griefing on Xbox to a PlayStation player? Can they go and report him or block him or some stuff like that if he's on Xbox Live and not on PlayStation Network? That I can understand from that aspect of it, how things would be weird or things would be difficult. And it would require a lot of effort that neither one of them really want to do. Because the only reason why Xbox and Nintendo can crossplay with some games like Minecraft or I forgot what other game, but I think Minecraft's just the main one. Oh yeah, Fortnite. The reason why they can do that is because Nintendo said, "Screw it, we'll use Xbox Live servers." So that's what they're doing. They're using Xbox Live servers on a Nintendo console in order to crossplay. I don't think Sony would agree to that. They would literally have to break down and read the whole thing. Am I saying it's consumer friendly? No. Am I saying it's like technically the right thing to do? No. But from a business standpoint, let's be realistic. Like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, Sony was almost bankrupt and they had nothing. So now that they're at this point, I don't think they want to do anything to jeopardize that.
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, I think they should limit the parameters, but I feel like ultimately it's not going to affect them in the long haul. I don't feel. Because, I mean, the premise in which me buying an Xbox is still going to be the same premise in which I bought the Xbox originally, which is because I have more friends on Xbox Live. True. And the fact that the network was stronger. So, I mean, PlayStation obviously doesn't, Xbox doesn't have a network or they don't have anything over in Japan on the, the Oriental countries. So, I mean, ultimately, I figured probably help them because it will keep people on that game for longer. But
I think from a business standpoint, it is something that PlayStation has to think about as well, where there are going to be people who are like, do I want Xbox or PlayStation? Well, Xbox I can play with my friends on PC. I'm going to get an Xbox. So that's a sale they've lost simply because of not having crossplay. So
they do have crossplay with PC though.
In a couple games, yeah. But
I
don't think they have it as strongly as Xbox does.
Well, that's because
I'm trying to say.
That's because all their exclusives are on PC,
as well as with Nintendo.
Nintendo and crossplay just became a thing. So anybody who's making that argument,
well, I just think that Xbox is going through with crossplay more than PlayStation is, whereas PlayStation seems to be almost completely against it. So that is enough to make somebody want to buy an Xbox over a PlayStation.
Very, very true. But you also have to.
That would be the reason why I would do it. Yes, thank you.
It just went quiet.
Because I was anyway. The whole reason behind that though is because last generation, Microsoft was winning for the most part, and Sony came up to. I mean, not Sony. Yeah, Sony came to Microsoft and said, "Hey, you want to do this crossplay thing?" And then Microsoft said, "No, go fuck yourself." So Sony was like, "Okay." And now this year, tides have turned. Microsoft is in a losing situation. Third place, is it really losing? No, they're still making money hand over fist, but they are technically losing. So thus, they are broadening their horizon, which me personally, I think the way Microsoft is doing right now is only hurting the Xbox brand, because even though it's very consumer friendly what they are doing, allowing you to play your game wherever, you are giving everybody a reason not to buy your console. Why would you buy an Xbox right now? Because you can play all of their games anywhere. You know what I'm saying? You can play all of their games anywhere. The best place to play it is not on your console. Unlike on Sony, where all their exclusives are actually exclusive, the best place to play it is on your PlayStation. So that is a reason why to buy a PlayStation. If you were in the market, you were like, okay, should I invest in this Xbox or should I buy a PC? We're going to have all the Xbox exclusives, the best looking Xbox exclusive, all the PC exclusives, and cross-play with PS4 on the like Street Fighter, Fortnite, or whatever other games are cross-platform with PC. I don't know all of them off the top of my head. But that's the thing. So the only reason why I would buy an Xbox is because my friends are on Xbox.
I think, I hate saying it, but I think casuals would just ignore PC completely, and it would just be a PlayStation versus Xbox argument for them. Because a lot of people don't want to either build a computer or dish out the extra money for a pre-built that's stronger than the console anyway.
And people, just so everyone knows, building a PC is not as hard as you think.
No, it's really not.
It is like Legos. It is literally like Legos. Only it is as simple as you want it to be. If you want it to be just simple and plain, and it just play all of your games, it's not hard. It's only hard once you get into, I want to build, I want to water cool it with rigid tubing, and then I want to overclock my shit to this much so that I can decrease my video editing down by 10%. Only when you want to make it complicated will it get complicated. Mm-hmm. But that's very true. That's very true. Some people will, there are a lot of people that are not even going to mess with a PC because of that reason, 100%. But at the same time, it's even still looking at it on paper. If you were looking at it on paper and you see exclusive lineup, even for just this year and next year, so Sony and then Microsoft, where are you getting the most bang for your buck?
Yeah.
So that's why I understand from a business aspect why Sony is like, I'm not going to bother, because we already have the upper hand. Why give anybody a reason not to buy us?
Well, see, I'm going to look at it this way. the network. I use, for example, the PlayStation Network and the Xbox Network. They have different parameters at that time from last generation consoles. Chauncey, I was just stating that the parameters from the last generation consoles, the networks were different. That was because Xbox, you were paying for the service. PlayStation, you have the PlayStation Network for free. So whereas they were trying to do the whole, hey, we're going to have free players play with your paying customers. That's the reason why I'm pretty sure they said go fuck off. But now
it's Microsoft.
Hold on, hear me out. So the premise now that you have paying customers paying for a service, and now the other network has paying customers paying for a service, they're kind of on the same tier. So now the premise in which since they're both paying for service, they're both paying for the network, why not have the network come together for the larger quantity? And I think that's the ultimate premise, because again, like I said, last gen console, Xbox was paying for Xbox Live, and PlayStation Network was like, oh yeah, we got our PSN for free, ha 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 ha. But we know how much better Xbox servers were than PlayStation Network. So now that PlayStation Network is bringing their servers up there with Xbox, now it's like, okay, well, now that you're up here, we should work together. PlayStation's like, no, go fuck yourself. But at the same time, it's like, who's that really hurting? I mean,
it's not hurting Sony.
Yeah.
So the thing is, and it. So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like either one of these companies are the good guys in the story. Neither one of them are. Both of them would have obviously done the same thing if the tables were turned, because they both did it.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that the reason why I think eventually, and it looks like it's going to be happening, Microsoft is just going to become third party, because you're paying for Xbox Live, right?
Mm-hmm.
PC people are not paying for Xbox Live, and they're playing the same games you are, and they're playing on the same servers you are, because there's cross-play between you and the Xbox. So, and that's just another reason why you are just telling people, hey, if you want to buy a console, you can buy our console, but the best place to play it is on PC, and we're giving you no reason to buy an Xbox other than you like consoles. So you might as well just have a PC and a PlayStation 4, and then a Switch if you like to travel, because traveling
I have them all. And VR.
And you can travel with it. If you can travel with it, then it could be a piece of shit. It could run like crap, and
mobility.
Well,
hold on, because the reason why you get a traveling thing is because you're really playing by yourself. Who really actually plays?
Sir, Fortnite downloaded billions of times on the Nintendo, or it might have been millions. It might be exaggerating. It was a fuck ton when it came out on the Nintendo Switch. That is an online-only game, sir. Portability for fucking what?
It's still so funny to me that people would even try to play an online game like that.
Yeah. What am I going to fucking McDonald's and fucking play that shit? I'm not taking my Switch over to a friend's house so I can play Fortnite. It doesn't work. I mean, yeah, you can do that. Why not just go to your friend's house who I know has a PS4 or Xbox and just play fucking Fortnite if you're going to do that? Or if you're going out, like if you're at an airport, are you really doing any better with their Wi-Fi? No. You're just ruining it for everybody else, because your McDonald's ass to sit there connected to the fucking Wi-Fi while you're playing with someone in fucking Brazil, and you're pew 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 in around. I don't get it.
Thinking about it from that perspective, you do bring up a valid point. The fact that portability, like you don't have to play the Switch anywhere, but that's kind of its selling point. You can play it. You have the option to. You can do it wherever you want.
I get you have the option, but the problem I have is that's to me, that's not an argument. That's not a good argument to own a Switch that you can take it wherever you want to.
I think,
especially if like the number one, like the top game that is played on the Switch is not a single player. If it was a single player game, then yeah, and then people are using it for the reason. But if you're playing it at home,
I think that one you're just gonna have to blame on the ridiculous popularity of Fortnite and mostly younger people having the Switch. Like really, I enjoy my Switch for playing Breath of the Wild wherever the hell I feel like. I'm sitting outside of class waiting for class to start, and I'm playing my single player game. It's great because of that.
Everybody who owns a Switch talks about Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. And the issue I have though is that yes, you have your Breath of the Wilds, but I really doubt there's going to be any game from a third-party vendor or any port that comes over that will be on that level of you wanting to play that outside your home, because it's going to be
Hollow Knight. So
okay, it's going to be in such a okay, I'm talking about like a game like for example, let's say that they ported The Division onto the Switch. How shit would that be?
Well, it's a multiplayer game.
Okay.
That's why
just a single player aspect of it. Okay, LA Noire. They ported that to the Switch. How shit was that?
If it's a game I enjoy playing at home, why wouldn't I want to play it on my Switch instead and play it while I'm waiting for stuff at work or something?
I get what you're saying. I'm saying there is a quality to Breath of the Wild because it was made from Nintendo exclusively for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, you're talking just about shitty ports.
Anything else?
And
freaking Wolfenstein drops all the way down to 5 frames per second, down to 340p in stressful situations on docked, and even docked it does that.
I mean, I think that also just depends on what type of games that you like to play. If you're more into like low, like things that don't require a lot to run, like platformers, 2D games.
Yeah,
like,
I
play those on
get that.
That's what I do. So
I completely understand that, but then everybody would have bought a PSP.
And I don't think the PSP was really that good either.
The PS Vita was a great console if they actually put money towards it, but they did.
Yeah.
And that's so that's just one thing. I think Nintendo just gets a pass on everything. It is what it is, whatever. But you can't tell me that the portability aspect of it that's what it is for. But it's not a console. It's a handheld.
Oh, it's a handheld. Yeah, no, I would agree to it's a handheld. Which is why I play smaller games on it. I think it's a lot of people argue with like AAA games, heavy titles that require a lot of processing power and stuff. Whereas the Switch, it is a handheld. You are meant to play games that don't require that on it. And so it is kind of weird to me that they are porting games like Wolfenstein to it to try to sell it when they should just be pushing out more of their little indie titles like Shovel Knight and Hollow Knight and Shantae and stuff like that. Just like play those on your Switch and the little party games, Mario Party and stuff.
Yeah, and that is a whole other bag of worms. Like you really expect everybody to buy their own Switch to play Mario Party? Come on, man.
No, you could get
but you've seen there were some games though. There were some games
where they
connect them. Yeah, it's like come on, no.
It was interesting, but people probably wouldn't do that.
You invited your friends to your house to play that shit on one TV. You did not have everybody bring over. It's like having everybody buy an Xbox and bring it over to your place to play a fucking game. Get out of here.
Well, with the Switch, what you can do, at least with the controllers, is you can slide your controllers into somebody else's console, and then they're just synced up, and then you play with like your own controllers. So
that is cool.
People might do that.
I just wish that the Nintendo Switch was priced accordingly, because that's an investment and a half. It's not just $300. $300 plus the games, plus the screen protector, plus the case, plus all that shit.
So that average up to what, $4?
Depends.
I don't know though, because the
cell phones. So
if you are arguing about it with a handheld as well, though, the 3DS on release was $250, right? So you're paying $50 more for the Switch, which if you're arguing it is a handheld, it's just it's another handheld with $50 more.
Yeah, when it released, that's how much it cost, and now it's not that much. And I get what you're saying, but you can. I don't have that too many rebuttal for that, but I never bought a Nintendo. I never bought a DS because it was $250. So that's
Well,
why.
yeah, I'm just saying, as a handheld, if we are comparing the Switch to the last handheld, it's not a huge price jump, actually.
And
Yeah,
what's crazy is, what's fucking crazy though is you at that when the DS came out, and Xboxes were like $200. No sense.
But then again, I mean, the DS was sold based off of the premise that you could see the world in 3D.
Not anymore, because they lost a patent lawsuit, and the reason why they're getting rid of 3D is because they have to pay that band money every time they sell a 3DS. So they got rid. So like, well, fine, no more 3DSs.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Now they're 2DSs. All of them.
All of them. But again, that was the gimmick. And essentially,
terrible fucking gimmick.
It sold. I mean, it worked for some games. It didn't work for other games. But
I don't think the 3D portion of it is what sold it. I think it's the fact it was Nintendo.
It was Nintendo, and it was
Nintendo was the handheld.
I don't think the 3D really.
Nobody used the 3D feature. Nobody used that shit.
Dude, honestly, I tried. I turned it off all the time.
It burns your fucking battery like ridiculous. Yeah. Remember that shit. I bought a 2DS. I'm like, I don't need no fucking 3D.
No, the 3DS was literally just a freaking. It was kind of like I want to say a lens. Like you can actually slide it up and down accordingly.
Yeah, I know, but I know. I guarantee you, like 70% of people turn that shit off. No one used it, and there wasn't too many games that took advantage of it either.
The only reason I didn't use it was because I couldn't sit at a weird angle. Because if I turned my DS ever so slightly, it fucked up. It like got all blurry. So I'd have to keep it off so I could be comfortable.
Which really ruins the fact that it's portable.
Yeah.
But anyway, we beat that. We beat the shit out of that. We beat it's fucking dead. It's done. It's dead. Right? It's fucking dead. Anyway, we're gonna move on to what was the last thing?
Hey Matt, we see you in the background, throwing up hand signs and stuff.
Yeah, he's throwing up gang signs. He's a fucking Cuban cockroach. Okay. So my last topic was going to be, so it looks like the landscape of loot boxes is starting to slow down just a little bit. I'm going to be optimistic about it because being negative is whatever. Let's be realistic. It's going to continue. But anyway, so games like all of EA's future games, including Battlefield 5, Forza Motorsport 7, and Shadow of War have removed loot boxes from their game, or currently doing it right now. The makers of Forza said that Forza 8 will not have any loot boxes in it, and they are currently in the works of removing the loot box feature of Forza 7. And Shadow of War, the sequel to Shadow of Mordor, has recently removed all loot boxes from their game, stating that it ruins the experience because what is a single player game, and having to earn special orcs to progress in the game through loot boxes kind of removes the immersion of the experience, which they definitely knew from the beginning and are now just kissing ass because Battlefront 2 ruined it for everybody. Thank you, Battlefront 2.
Thank you.
On that note, no, it's not that they're doing this as a gesture of good faith. Definitely the Swedish governments and a couple of foreign governments that obviously they have a market to have signed into law that these are considered officially gambling, and they have the rights and the jurisdiction to fine them per game that is sold. They have I think it's like $150,000 fine, or however much they fine for gambling, is what they are to pay each time a person buys one of these games. The company is liable, so the company has to pay that to their government each time one of these games with loot boxes is sold into that. So they're like, oh no, by no means do I want to do that. So they're a lot of them are dropping the loot box premise.
I don't think that is 100% official just yet, just because otherwise I think there'd be a lot more people dropping that shit. But I know there's a lot of countries or overseas that are implementing that as we speak.
Yeah.
Even in like the smallest amount, they're even small things like, oh, it's not gambling, but we're definitely gonna look into it type thing. But this is a good start because I think the whole the model that is starting to become popular is the, you know, you sell cosmetics and then all the DLC is free. I think that should be the model because I think people are way more likely to spend money if you're providing them with something. Like, oh, so you mean I could take this $50 that I would have spent on maps and I can just give it to you and get these little cool cosmetics that I wanted anyway? Oh, cool. So I think people are way more liable to do that, and I think games like Call of Duty are, you know, pieces of shit. But Activision, just die, please. Anyway, no, I think the cosmetic route should be the model for like everything. I think the least most intrusive game, but I still don't like that there are loot boxes, is Overwatch. And I think that's like the most you should do with loot boxes, period.
Yeah, because I was playing Battlefield 4, and obviously they have loot boxes in that. And I thought it was quite bogus the way they have this whole system set up. Like, I was like, this is kind of dumb. Like, you mean to tell me that I have to get a loot box in order for me to get the chance to get a certain part or something like that? And I was like, that's dumb. Because that, and I'm not going to lie, I've gotten quite a few good parts, like a Fleer and a couple of weapons. I was like, this is kind of broken in a sense. Like, this is like, oh, I've never touched this weapon, but because I have a Fleer, I automatically have an advantage. So therefore, I can fuck up people all day. Meanwhile, you get a person with a 2x scope who's actually earning it, and you can always beat them because of the fact of the matter you have a Fleer. So I like the fact that this kind of thing is being taken out of games because that kind of ruins the experience.
It got abused. It got abused so quickly. Loot boxes were like, they were fine, and then they were abused like immediately, and now we're bringing them back down.
Yeah, it's I'll beat the horse until it dies.
Yeah,
that's the horse you should beat to death. And people, for all those that are listening, you have to make your opinions about stuff like this. You can't bitch about everything, but if it's wrong, then yeah, just you have every right to bitch, and you should bitch about it. It's not even really bitching. It's just it's fighting for your rights as a consumer because these are flawed practices.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think we should be very vocal about these all the time. Fuck Black Ops.
How did we ever get to the point where it was okay to put like usable weapons and attachments in fucking loot boxes? I don't understand. Like, you just destroyed all of progression through leveling and threw it in a loot box. How did that become okay?
It's fucking insane because they're sitting like, oh, they'll just accept it, and sometimes fucking do, and it's annoying. I don't get it. I don't get how that's like that shouldn't be normal. That shouldn't be the thing. There shouldn't be any game that should be able to get away with that. The fact that Battlefront 2 didn't get away with it really surprised me. I thought people would give zero fucks, honestly.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because of the Battlefront 2, I think, was the straw that broke the camel's back because, like I said before, and Battlefront 2 was one of the most beloved games of all time. Like, everybody who played Battlefront 2 absolutely loved that game. And the original on the 360 or on the Xbox. And for them to skip a generation on 360, people wanted that game. People were pining for a sequel. They wanted that game. And for the EA to come out with this game and then fragment it and be like, in order for you to get the full game, you have to keep paying us. That punched everybody in the face who loved that game so much. It pissed people straight off. I know plenty of people, including myself, who, because of the fact that what they did, will not buy the game, won't even look at the game, even though it looks amazing, won't look at the game because they're like, oh, well, that's a black eye on the impression of that game that I had, that I loved, that I had so much investment into because it was just an amazing game. That game, to be completely honest, for me, on my part, it actually influenced a lot of little things in my life, like little passwords and stuff like that, like the little identities that I came up with because of that game, how I played. And I love that game. So, you know, I think honestly that was the straw that broke the camel's back because, Battlefront, whatever. People can play dumb or Star Wars Battlefield. People can play stupid. People can do whatever. It doesn't affect anybody individually. You pretty much have a, Call of Duty. But then you get something as beloved as Star Wars and Battlefront 2, and you put those two together and you try to fucking milk it. No, people was like, no, zero tolerance. So, what?
Y'all see this man? Y'all see this man? This man is dead.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you don't know what we're talking about. That's the fucking problem. Oh my god. All right. We're going to end it here before this man passes the fuck out. Oh my god. All righty. That was episode 28 of the Games4Bros Podcast. Thank you all for watching and or listening. My name is J2Cool. I am accompanied by the oh so sleepy
Kage-sama.
Let me see.
Jesus Christ.
That was the softest thing I've heard from you in a while, Lamar.
Oh my goodness. Kage-sama. I'm surprised you didn't just mumble it.
Kage.
Yo, find out what the fucking goddamn sloth is in Japanese and change your fucking name to that.
Oh yeah, we forgot the whole segment that we were going to start doing the funny names we've come across for the week, but that's been a.
I played with somebody today. His name was fucking Obamacare.
Oh man, there was a dude named I Know You're Fat. That was the dude's name.
Oh my god,
I laughed so hard.
You're fat. That's funny.
Let's see.
The most ridiculous I've seen so far is carbonated crunchy cooter cream. Carbonated crunchy cooter cream.
Is that 4 C's or 5?
4.
4 C's. That's funny.
Wow.
Let's see. There was a guy I played with called Don't Invite Please.
Wow. Okay.
That reminds me of when I was playing Dark Souls 2 PvP one time. I killed a dude who was kind of laggy, and then I immediately got invited to a Steam group called Fix Your Connection, Dumbass. I was like, wow. Okay.
There's a bipolar feminist. There's a what the fuck Chuck.
What
and
the fuck Chuck?
Bread. There's a dude on here named Eating Some Bread.
Mm.
Wow.
So
Let's see what I got. Hold on. What the fuck? Some of these names are just dumb. Young Tree, like really?
That's probably somebody's last name and something.
Can you be any blacker? What the fuck is this shit? Hold on. HFG2345100.
That looks like a generic gamer tag for real.
I don't know what the fuck that is, man.
Sounds like an Xbox assigned name.
No shit.
That's worse than Xbox assigned name.
Hold on. Let's.
Oh, okay. Here we go. I got one. Dick Butt the Great.
I have a tracksuit Gandalf.
That's awesome.
That is pretty funny. I like that. Greg Black Hodgson. Okay.
Soviet meat grinder.
There we go.
Yeah.
He's a dude. His name is Ag. A-A-A-H-H-A.
How do you...
Aaron.
How do you talk to people like that in game? Like, yo, come here, cover me while I reload.
Jesus Christ.
What?
All right, that's enough madness.
Bodie McBoatface.
Jesus.
Okay.
Freaking Royal Scorpio, the Ram. We are out. Thank you once again. We will be back next week at our normal starting time, Friday, 8:30. Peace, love, soul.
Deuces.